Hey, guys! Another wacky Wednesday with your crazy host, Jennifer Outwater. So happy to have all of you guys in. I know we've got a lot going on as always, man. The punches just keep on coming, don't they? Keeps on rolling in, and we're fighting back, right? Every day trying to be good humans, and it can be difficult. But I'm just going to say, as George Michael said, keep the faith, my friends, keep the faith. We have to keep on punching through. So, hey, everybody. Hey, Vic. Hey, ladies. How's everybody doing? I put it in the top, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but if you're new, and even if you're not, if you'd like a reading with me tonight, either put your question in your comments or just say general reading so I kind of know which way we're going, and we'll kind of stream through. And I think I saw somebody new. Hey, Beth Mobley, good to see you. Dawn, good to see you. Brigitte, Carol, Vic, Christina Rinaldi, benvenuta. So happy to have everybody in. So you guys know, today, I'm not sure what happens going into tonight and leading into tomorrow morning, but there's supposed to be something that comes in for us that's all kind of a wake-up call. We're all supposed to be getting this information, and I'm not sure if that's going to come via like a download while we're sleeping, or if it's going to be boom in front of our faces, either a conversation or on television. But we have something coming in that's going to be an awakening for us. It's going to make us have an aha moment of going, I knew it. Right there it is. I knew it. Today's kind of a wake-up call kind of day. And I didn't put up the energy report today, and I apologize. I also didn't put up Wanda's stuff because, in case y'all don't see it, and I hope you don't because I cleaned my nails really good, but they had grease under them because I was pulling the seats out of a van. So I've been working on a van. Hey, Miss Jackie. Oh, and some other cool news. The van is bomb. It's perfect. Everything's cool. So all of my friends here, in mid-November through the end of November, I will be making a trek back to the East Coast, and hopefully I can stop along the way and visit with some of you guys for at least a day or two. I would love to do that. I've got so many friends and so many people here that come into the show that we've gotten close with that it would be awesome to hug y'all's neck along the way and maybe park my van in your driveway for one night. We'll see. But yay! So I'm going to jump in, guys. I'm going to jump up here and see where we are. I think the first reading request that we had was from Miss Christina Rinaldi. Interesting last name. That is my mother-in-law's maiden name, Rinaldi. That is a noble name. I'm sure you already know that from Italy, but it's not that my ex-mother-in-law is noble. She is precious, but she's not noble. But it is a noble name. So yay, Beth Mobley, second live, and you think you're going to get hooked? Girl, I hope so. Hope you get hooked like a catfish. Oh, wait, maybe a catfish wasn't the right thing. I've been watching that show, Catfish. It is messed up, y'all. People are crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But I'm going to jump in with Miss Christina and get her going. And Christina, what I'm doing, since I don't use cards, and I know that you guys, with the other people on our other shows, everybody uses cards and everybody likes visuals. So I've been pulling from this deck that I bought from you guys called the Shaman String. And they're really nice cards. And it kind of sets the tone for where your reading's going. Even though, if I'm being honest, I ain't got a dang clue what those cards mean. But I'm going to fake it till I make it. Won't fake your reading, but I'll fake it till I make it on the card. So here we go. Miss Christina, the card that comes up for you is First Breath, a Beginner's Mind. It's a 21 card. It's a 3. So this is all about, it comes down to a 3. It's all about Trinity and family relationships and relationships in general and combining things. In your case, it was upside down. So I'm going to show it to you right side up so you can get an idea of what it is. Beautiful, beautiful card. You see how that beautiful woman's just standing, kind of balancing all these planets. She's balancing all these different aspects. And it's creation, right? But in your case, it's upside down, which for me is quite interesting because you are a dreamy kind of person. You have such a creative mind. I think at the moment, you don't need to be pushing creative projects quite as much or branching out into anything new. It looks like you should be a little more like retrospective and kind of thinking back, like, what my grandparents have done, like not being naive. Do you know what I'm saying? So really taking your time into moving into things and taking time to be cautious and completing tasks, because sometimes you can get ahead of yourself. You're a really good communicator. And I know that in your head, you feel like you're communicating all the ideas, but sometimes they get lost because there's just so much going on up there. You're really quick. But I do want you to be really cautious right now, especially with money. Pull back money a little bit, cut out any expenses that you don't need. Don't take on any silly things that aren't really necessary. And that goes across the board for everybody. But since this is for you, Christina, this is about you. But be cautious with that. There's also talk of a new way of creating stability for yourself financially. It feels more like you're going to shift in position. For me, it could be a job change, but it feels like a shift in position for me, because you have a real sense of being concerned about reliability and things being stable all the time. It's just part of your nature. I want to know this is solid. I want to know that the ground I'm standing on is not going to shift. We all know that, life doesn't work that way. But in your case, it's one of the things where you have to kind of take a new approach and letting go of those aspects a little bit. I think with your card inverted that way, that would be more about not taking on new things, but I'll argue with it a little bit. I think you do have new beginnings coming in, and I think they've already started to come in this month. I think they're going to continue to come in this month. There's something around the 17th of this month that comes in for you that kind of shifts your perspective and opens up the field of play a little bit for you. So I want you to pay attention. And it doesn't, like, this month is really more about you completing tasks than taking on new ones. So it's kind of about wrapping things up for you. So I hope that helps out a little bit, sister. I hope you find your way in that. And I hope that you are able to kind of think back in the old wisdom, in the old way about, is it necessary? Do you know what I mean? Do I really need to take on anything new? Do I really need to put myself out there anymore? Because it feels like a lot of gifts or presents that have been wrapped, but the bow hasn't been put on them yet. That's what it feels like for me. There you go, Miss Rinaldi. So I hope that works out for you. I'm going to skip down. Doc's in the house. I love that everybody's calling Victor the Doc when in fact it's me. I'm up his butt all the time about taking care of himself. But I know what you're saying. It's super cute. Cristina, fa niente, amore. No, prego. E niente proprio. She said grazie in Italian, if you guys didn't see it. You're welcome. Miss Jackie Jones, it's so good to see you back in, girl. Miss Louise, hey, girl. Kelsey, everybody's in here. So let me see what Beth is saying. Beth's saying you have two family members, both Charles. They're both named Charles. You have concerns about. Both have very different circumstances looking for outcomes. All right, let me see what I can pull for these two boys. I'm going to pull two of those cards that I was talking about with you. And I'll just say Charles number 1 and Charles number 2. That doesn't mean that one is what and the other one is what. But I have to put them in order. So the first Charles, and he's going to be, I'm going to rate the first Charles by the first one that comes to your mind. Okay? That Charles is who we'll start with. That Charles comes up with a 55 number, which is a 10. It reduces down to 1. So it's all about him. It's called the Farther Gate, Bold Steps Forward. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. So for him, we'll start there. For him, this is all about him stepping out into the world and really putting himself out there, pushing himself to build almost like a business for himself. Like, I don't know if he's like in self-employed or an independent contractor or what this is, but it feels like that he's supposed to be building some kind of business for himself and employing others, bringing others in with talent to work around him. It looks like this is something that he will master, something where he, almost like a trade, do you know what I mean, or a skill, where he comes in, kind of gets it together. There is a side part of him that I think is really interesting, and I'm sure you will know this about him, but he is so deeply sensitive and so deeply emotional. He may not show it on the outside, but he is on the inside. He gets influenced by other people's thoughts and opinions and their actions really, really intensely. And so that's one of the major things that he has to work on, is not being too far gone with rose-colored glasses where other people are concerned. So you'll know which Charles I'm talking about. And now I'm going to move on to the second one. There's also a really strong spiritual connection with him. I think he really loves women, not in like a chauvinistic way or like a playboy way, but I think he really has a strong connection with women. The other Charles comes up with a 7 card, and it's called Covenant, the Sacred Contract. These are some cool cards. Some of these I haven't seen before. These are really, really neat. So this is all about him. No matter where he is and what it is that you're worried about, he's exactly where he's supposed to be right now, like working through deeper spiritual things that he needs to conquer and establish before he can move on. He comes off to me as more neurotic, more pathological, more manipulative a little bit in a way, not always necessarily in a bad way, but it can definitely be used that way. It's almost like a whimsical manipulation, like what you would see with a child. It feels for me like that a little bit. He's all about, this one is all about just kind of going with the flow and having a good time and making friends and being with them and going all the time and doing all the time. Incapable of making solid decisions. That's the other thing that comes up. And incapable of making commitments to self-care. So I'm not going to get too public here because we're on a public forum. I will say that I think there are some things that he struggles with that he needs to take more seriously, but within the group of people or in the mindset that he's in, it seems to go on the back burner. I hope that there's some completion there that comes up because it feels like this affects everybody involved in the family around him, but specifically mom or who would have raised him. And there's some maturing there to do because it has a negative impact. So I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but listen, I'm not one to air people's private laundry out on a public line. But I hope that helps a little bit, sweetie. I definitely do, Beth. Let me see. Jackie Jones. Oh, Carol, you're off a whole week, mid-November. Sweet. Listen, I'm building that thing out. I got all the seats pulled out. I got the subfloors laid today, putting in the wiring tomorrow for the solar panels. I'm on it. Y'all wouldn't know it, but I'm a grease monkey. I am on this stuff. So I will definitely try to plan some trips. I don't know if I'll get all the way to New York, but who knows, Carol? I didn't think I'd be in America a year ago either, and here I am. I sure didn't think I'd be in El Paso, but here I am. So you never know. All right, Miss Jackie Jones, Blaurock, let's get you a reading, sweet girl. I'm going to take I don't know if y'all noticed, but my glass matches my jacket. How bougie is that? It was not intentional. It just kind of happened that way. I have an odd ability to match colors from a far distance or without thinking about it. Okay, Miss Jackie. So here we go. You got a number 6 card. It's Cosmic Womb, the Divine Feminine. It is inverted. So I'm going to show you that. I hope you can see that well. It being inverted is not necessarily a bad thing. I think this is a time when masculine energy for you and for a lot of women is necessary to kind of come forward, okay? It's putting into play you making big final decisions, you making bold moves, you organizing, putting things together in a way that requires a very logical, very sound mind and not an emotional mind. And that would be the bigger difference between that masculine energy and that feminine energy. So it's all about just putting a lot of logic into that. Now, on the sideline of that, it looks like for me, like you've got something legal coming up. This may be a contract. And so there's a lot of not trusting the process where it comes in with you. So I think it's because there's been so much procrastination and whatever is going on that you've kind of lost faith in the process that it'll ever resolve itself, but it's not going to resolve itself. In fact, this is a learning opportunity for you. It looks like things kind of get shored up and sewn up with this. Oh, this is going with home and family. It looks like things get kind of sewed up and shown up for me sometime between the 22nd and the 24th. However, there is a possibility due to a minor oversight that things may play out even until the 27th. But I will say, don't get upset and don't get too in your own head. Just kind of let things flow a little bit and it'll come around. Whatever this is going on for you, sweetie, has been tied to family and security and and finance and karma, even into like wrapping it all together and bringing everything into conclusion. So that's kind of where this sits. So just watch those dates that I mentioned with you. If you missed them, play them back. But 22nd through the 24th, possibly filling over or spilling over into the 27th. And like I said, if there's a minor hiccup in something that comes up, don't go crazy. Don't lose your mind. It'll all be fine. You're going to get through it, girl. I promise you. This is a whole lot of karma for everybody this month. This month is about a lot of things that we've wanted coming in so we can finish things, or a lot of things that we've been working on for quite a while coming to fruition and finishing up. So it's a month of finishing business, and it will be exactly that. Miss Louise Dobson, you need a reading. Okay. And hi, Nikki Spall. You're new, so we're happy to have you here. Hey, Nikki. All right, Miss Louise. Let me see what I can get for you, sweet girl. I'm so grateful all of you guys. And oh, we got another new person. Hi, Izzy. 222. Welcome to the show. We're so happy that you're here. Jana Fuller. Hey, hey. I love seeing all you guys. Can I tell you too, y'all's pictures are so cool. Like everybody always looks so good. I'm a little bit jealous. We have probably got the best looking people ever on any live right here. And I'm not saying that just to toot y'all's horns and flatter you. I'm saying it honestly. Because if y'all were ugly, I wouldn't say it to your face, but I'd probably think it. Y'all are not ugly. You're beautiful. Okay. Where was I at now that I'm done rambling? Okay, Miss Louise Robusta. You have got a 20 out or 28 card. That's going to go down to a 10, which reduces down to a 1. So this is all about you. And it's hollow bone, teachability, inverted. Do we see it? So it's kind of that not being able to teach an old dog new tricks kind of mentality, right? It's that thing. It's that pessimism. There we go. Yeah. Sorry, sometimes my English is really bad. Of not seeing the glass half full. In fact, it's more like, oh, I hope like hell somebody didn't knock this glass over, right? So it's a little pessimistic, but not negative. It's just not expecting things for people to change. I guess that's the right way I'm trying to say it. So there's a certain mindset there. I will tell you, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised that things will change. They're not going to change immediately, but there's a lot of salvation that already came in. That came in around the 9th of the month. There's a movement there that kind of fills the heart, that brings hope back in, that makes it feel like things are finally moving in the right direction, because the last 3 months have felt so stagnant and weird and off kilter that it feels like things are moving. Sometimes when we've had a long period of stagnation, we get comfortable in that, right? We get comfortable in any long phase of anything we go through. That can be as dangerous as nothing changing. Sometimes it's getting comfortable with that lower vibration. In this sense, things are moving forward for you really, really quickly. And it looks like towards the end of the month, things will get a lot better as well. I do see that you're pulling back a little bit on talking about certain subjects with people. It feels like to me that you're like, okay, I know when to put my voice in and when to not put my voice in. Like that's been a real lesson learned over the last month and a half. But it feels like that's something that's been going on, and like you're handing control of a situation over to somebody else, like you're letting go of the reins a little bit. So it frees you up to not have to pay attention to every single detail. It gives you the ability to kind of just now think about what you want. That may be where the challenge is, although I want peace in mind, but what does that mean exactly, right? What exactly does that mean to you? So it looks like you're coming into this time of learning to enjoy your life again, that whatever this weight is kind of lifting off itself a little bit. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect, but it means that you're not going to feel it quite as heavily. So allow yourself to go there. I think there's been a lot of important lessons to learn. I do think you can teach an old dog new tricks. I train these old dogs every day. So I think you can train yourself to find that happy balance between knowing when your words of wisdom are benefiting and when they just won't. And I feel like that's something that you're really learning this month. So if you haven't started that process, although I think you have, it's coming up. But again, I think you have. So I'll just say auguri. Congratulations. That's actually really cool. That's a big jump to make for people. So I'm happy for you, sweetie. I'm going to jump down really quick, guys, and just make sure I'm not missing anything. Nikki, I will get to you in 1 second. I promise. Christina Ronaldo, really beautiful. Aw, you guys are so cute. I love every single one of y'all. And Christina said she's 100% all over the place for sure. You have art projects all over your house. Look, wrap it up. Wrap it up, sisters. It's time to start wrapping everything up. Hey, Miss Chastity. That's what this month is about, guys. Don't let that energy pass you by. Don't let it fool you, and don't fool yourself. If you're feeling the need to complete projects and you feel like there's a timestamp on it, there is. It's either a timestamp that you have placed yourself on it or one that the universe is pushing you to fulfill. So just fulfill it without procrastination. Don't be afraid to jump in. Just jump in there and get her done. Get her done, right? All right. So, Miss Nikki, you would love a message from Spirit, please, if I can. I hope can. I'll try my best, but I will definitely give you a message from Spirit, sweet girl. I am pulling a card for you. It's a 25 that's going to reduce down into a 7. It's called the Garden of Venus, Rest and Renewal. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. Sweet, sweet girl. Spirit comes into you to talk to you about you finally stepping back from things that don't concern you, things that don't require your attention, things that don't involve you on a higher level, things that don't need to manifest because they don't serve your higher self. So since you have such an in tune ability to manifest and you're so highly connected spiritually, I would dare say a bit psychic to a degree, you have to be careful what you manifest because what you bring in is attached to emotion, right? And you can go way off the chart with emotion. One minute you're fine and the next minute you're ready to spit nails. So you have to be careful to gauge in that arena where you're attracting, right? If you find yourself getting a little overexcited or over emotional about anything, bring yourself back down into neutrality because that's where we want to attract. And so that's the main thing that's coming out is really just about you finding balance with all of those things. Sometimes for you, it's about sitting still, and sitting still can be hard for you sometimes. So you have a lot of energy. That's a good thing. I will tell you that the same thing comes up that I was just saying before. You have things you need to finish. It feels more for me, though, like it's conversations that need to be had more than necessarily just projects. But it feels like talks that should have been had or things that haven't been understood clearly that kind of need to come into fruition. So make a commitment to yourself to find balance for yourself spiritually and emotionally, but B, to go ahead and say what's on your heart, what needs to be said, and get it out of the way. Just make sure when you're doing that you're in a neutral place so that we don't go too far in one direction or the other. All right, darling? Thanks for being here. As Victor says, Victor's always, thanks for trusting me. Thanks for being here. I'm grateful too. I'm glad y'all trust us, and I'm glad you're here. We all are. We love you guys. And I know it's been a weird week without Rachel, and we've had to make some adjustments, and she's doing just fine. I'll let all of you guys know she's feeling a lot better. But I promise you next week we'll get back on track. There are going to be times when it's going to happen. We are all moving through some pretty doggone heavy energy. And that goes for us, as the readers here too. Sometimes we have to take a pause for the cause or step back and kind of heal ourselves a little bit too. But we appreciate y'all sticking with us and bearing with us through the process because God knows we're only human. We'd like to act like we're not, but we are. Kelsey, you're looking forward to 11 days off at Christmas? Awesome. That's a long holiday considering you just got that job, girl. Really long. So Miss Jana Fuller. Miss Jana Fuller. We're going to get you in for a reading, sweet girl. And I'm guessing that's a general reading because I don't see anything about it. I'm going to look down real quick and see if I'm missing anything. Hey, Miss KJ. All right, let me jump back up. Looks like it's general. So that is the route we will go. Let me jump. There we go. All right, got it. Okay, Miss Jana. I am pulling for you a 53 card. That's an 8. It is Stranger and Curiosity. Okay. So for me, that card is telling me that you are coming into things and learning how to emotionally connect and trust to yourself in a way where, not to sound goofy, but it almost feels like you're magical. Do you know what I mean? Like a light bulb went off in you. Something went off in you where you're recognizing that you do have power and authority to create in your own world, and also to pull things and people in. There's just like this connectivity, this connection that kind of goes off for me with you. It's a resounding yes, I'm being told, a resounding yes. But that comes in really strong because it puts you living in two realities, the old one that you've been in and this new one that you're kind of creating and merging into, which is really cool. You've got a lot of really cool stuff that's going to be happening personally to you. Now it's going to be all by you. Do you know what I mean? These are things you're going to manifest and bring into the world. There is an aspect that comes in for me around the 17th of next month that looks like there's some financial gain that comes in. It looks more temporary to me than anything. So this is like money coming in that you're kind of expecting, but it's going to come in at the right time. Like it's going to come in and you're like, thank God. It's not massive, massive, massive amounts of money, but it is enough that comes in and kind of just, I don't know, makes you feel better about the holidays coming in and better about a little bit of spending, not too awful much. Be careful. I will say, and I never say this to anybody, be careful not to be too cheap if you're buying something that you need to really buy right now. If this comes in like an appliance or something for your house or something that you've needed for yourself, get the best thing that you can afford. And maybe that money coming in is there to make you feel more confident, even though you would be like, let me just take half of that and buy whatever it is and put the other half to the side. I get it. I'm the same way. But whatever this is, I need you to make sure that you're getting quality, the best quality that you feel comfortable with affording to get. Okay. All righty. Let's see. Izzy 222. Do I see reconciliation with your separated husband? Thank you. You're welcome. I'm sorry that you're going through that. That can be really, really difficult. Both of you are incredibly stubborn, and I will be honest, already off the bat, there is a lot of, I would say, some necessary trauma, but a lot more unnecessary trauma that's involved in this that goes back. So this is constantly repeating the same things, constantly having the same story play out, the same discussion all the time, the same behavior all the time. And honestly, the lack of forgiveness thing, like not being able to fully let it go, kind of goes on both sides with you guys. So that's something that has to really strongly be worked out. But I'm going to pull a card for you, okay? It's a 39. That is an 11. That's a master number. I'm going to bring it down to the 2 and bring it down to where I think it needs to be. And this one is called Me Talks. It's about repairing the body, the mind, and the spirit. Okay? I think that's a huge aspect of kind of what has to happen here. I think there has to be on both of your parts, but since I'm talking to you, I can really only direct it at you. You have to find a way to let go of the poison that you've been holding so that this thing can have space to fix itself. Because I would love to say, yes, you guys are going to reconcile, but it's really based on where you are emotionally, spiritually, temporally, in all of those areas. I think that he would be more easy to come back in. However, there have to be strong boundaries where he's concerned. Like you guys need to have some very definitive boundaries. But I do see y'all coming back together. Okay. I just think there's a lot of source work, a lot of groundwork, and kind of getting real with yourselves has to happen. And forgiveness on both parts and for what you two have contributed into the situation. But it looks like a lot of it for me is you have a lot to let go of. There's a lot of just toxin sitting in there that doesn't need to be there. It's things you've just held for far too long. And those things are triggered also before he ever came into the picture. They're things that have happened over time that like trigger you back into emotional responses and things you've gone through before. So long story short here is I need you to work on releasing those things. If you don't know how to do it, there are people in this group that will be happy to assist you and walk you through it. It's way easier than you think it is. It's just making the decision sometimes to set ourselves free can be a little difficult. So try to work on that and let's see how things go. But yes, I do see a reconciliation. If you can do that, it is pending on that. If you don't do that, you guys will reconcile and then part again, because there's just too many band-aids on the ladder. Nobody can put their pressure on it. Do you know what I mean? Nobody can step on the ladder because they're just band-aids holding it up. These things have to be taken off. New things have to be built in place so that you guys can kind of climb back up into this point of ascending into a better relationship. So let's try to work on that. Okay, let's see. Way down, everybody's loving each other, saying hey to each other. Everybody's so sweet. Let's see. Chastity, can you have a general reading? Girl, you know you can. You know, I just wake up every day, Chastity, hoping you'll ask me for a dang reading. I do, actually. I love you. I haven't been reading a lot privately this week. I've been working on that van, racking my brains. I go to bed at night thinking about new ways to wire the solar powers to the inverter. So there it is. All right, Chastity, let's see. You are getting a 20 card, going back down to a 2. So this is about you and other people, but it's called Feast of Plenty, Choices and Their Consequences. And here we go. I think you have learned a lot of lessons over the last 5 or 6 months, mostly about yourself, about repetitious behavior, and also about depending on not other people in the sense of physically or in the sense of help, but depending on them emotionally, I think, to a degree, because you're like my baby M&M. You have a hard outside and a softer inside. Would make you more like a Reese's Pieces, wouldn't it? But I think you're going through a lot of that change of learning how to just be good with you and yours. Do you know what I mean? What's inside your 4 walls, that everything you need is actually there. Everything you need to sustain and be fulfilled is within those 4 walls every single day. And I think that's the biggest thing that's going on. There is something coming in with you, Chastity. I'm not sure if this is an issue with your grandson, but it feels like for me that there's some legality talk. Maybe this is a custody situation, but it feels like there's some talk of custody going on, and it will have you making like decisions in that, because I think at the end of the day, this child, I know this will sound weird, but sometimes when we're not in a place to have certain children come into our direct line, those kids will find somewhere close by to go. And I think this child is your child. It just came through somebody else, and he's always finding his way back to you. So there's something that comes in around that, but it does feel like it's a conversation about custody. I don't know that it'll go, it's not like negative in a legal way so much, but it just feels like a lot of talk and a lot of communication about that, and a lot of influence from other people who are trying to figure out what's the best thing for this child. Although you seem to kind of be in that salvation place for him, the truth is there's certain aspects that I think he will miss in his experience if you covet him too tight. So it's just interesting. I think there's some strong conversations that need to be had for sure. This month, going towards the end of the month and going into next month for you, are going to be highly social months. You're going to find yourself spending a lot more time with your friends inside your house and outside of your house. But it looks like you're going to be doing a lot more partying and hanging out and dinners and drinking wine and maybe sitting out by a campfire. It just feels like this whole thing where you're just coming alive. And I know you're a total October, fall, Halloween baby, but it's not that. It's separate of this. It's kind of just a time where something in you wakes up, right? Like you're finally good. So now it's time to kind of take that next step into the social aspect. And that's where you're going. So only good things are coming in for you, Miss Chastity. But I want you to think a lot about, maybe meditate or ask for a little clarity on what's going on with the baby in those regards, because it looks like there's some conversations that are either happening or need to be had. And so I will leave it there. But good luck with everything. All right, Miss KJ. Sorry, guys. My throat's sore today, so I'm having quite a few drinks. KJ. Hello, Jennifer. I'm waiting on some news about having the transplant. It was delayed, and you're worried it's going to be delayed for some time. What do I think? I think there's a real possibility that this could get delayed until the very end of November, the first part of December, which is nerve-wracking, I know, for you. But it feels like for me that that's what's going on. And it feels like they're doing the best that they can, but there are just little interruptions that keep kind of coming in and shaking it up a little bit. That's super aggravating, but I don't want you to get lost in the aggravation. It feels like, again, for me, though, this is end of November, first part of December. There is talk about that even extending out a little bit into the first part of the year. However, I see this happening in phases. So let's, for right now, unless something shifts, let's stick with the phase that comes in first part of December, and maybe there's something that spreads out towards the end of the year. Okay, but it all looks okay for me, sweetie. Try not to freak out too much. All right, let's see. Oh, what am I missing? Kelsey, may you have a job update. Specifically, will your manager ever stop blaming you for the past things or things that aren't your fault? It's getting old. I will see what I can do. Dang, girl, you're already getting irritated with that job. Woo! Kelsey. Okay, you got a 43 card reducing down to a 7, and it's overflow. It's overwhelm and plenty. Okay? Will she lighten up? Interesting with that card, because it feels like for me, no. But I will also say, listen, she comes in for me as kind of the overbearing mother on everyone. And I think sometimes things can get misconstrued. Now, I know you're saying right now, I am not misconstruing her blaming me for everything. I'm not saying you are. What I am saying is I think sometimes her intention can be misconstrued. I do think there's too much chatter between all of you guys with other people. So this is like, it's bringing other people into the situation and everybody's taking it home. So it's just creating this really kind of crappy energy all the way around. Will she stop at some point? Yes, but you also have to set a very firm boundary with her about what's okay and what's not okay. Not every conversation has to be had, right? And I think where you're coming into this, like, there's so much attraction that you were bringing when you were looking for your jobs, and there was some hesitance, and I know you were kind of back and forth in your mind and in your heart about what was going to be right for you. I think you were so far gone in that attraction of almost desperation of wanting to find a job to be stable that you left out a lot of details about exactly what that should be like. But I think you also have to work on your communication as well, because you're highly sensitive. You tend to get offended really, really easily. So there's a balance in this. Yes, you need to set some boundaries and she will lighten up. 2, don't get so personally offended by everything, because it's feeding the wrong wolf. Do you know what I mean? When you get offended like that, it's just adding more fuel to the fire, and we don't want to do that. So yeah, it will lighten up, sweetie. Absolutely. How soon it's going to lighten up? I think that depends on both of the attitude adjustments that both of you can make. The best thing I think you two could do is just kind of get out of there and maybe meet up on the weekend for lunch, or go to lunch together and really sit down and hash it out outside of the office. Because like I said, it feels like there's just too many ears, too many people listening all the time, too many opinions, and too much energy getting fed into this thing. But it will lighten up, Kels. Just make a decision to kind of attack it from a very loving and mature way, and this will lighten up. Okay, Miss Carol, if time allows, you would like a general read. Lots of plot twists this week. Do tell. Dish, honey, spill the tea. I guess we're going to have us a little phone call, aren't we, Miss Carol? Anytime this week for 10 a.m. before I'm working on that van. Hell, it better be 9 a.m. I'm out there working early because it's still hot in El Paso. Holy moly. All right, girl. You've got a 17 card going to an 8. It is the eye of the needle and intentionality, but it is inverted. So lots of things going on this week. Yes, absolutely. Were they intentional? Yes. Were they going to have the outcome the intention had set? No. So here's the wonky thing with that. When intention gets set purely based on emotion without any crown chakra or logic or deep thought put into it, just emotional based thoughts, a lot of the times it will manifest itself in a way that we don't get the result we want. And I see a lot of that going on with you. So yeah, a lot of plot twists going on in that way. A lot of people procrastinating on being firm. A lot of, because I know a lot about what's going on with you, especially with dad. But a lot of plot twist in that way. There are some mindsets that are shifting a little bit behind closed doors, as far as people kind of changing the way they view things. I think there's some things that both men need to own up to a little bit degree, like accept accountability in those areas. But things are shifting a little bit. As for other things, you have a lot going on at work. Now, one of the things that I do see is a lot of movement there. It looks like a lot of people are just overlooking things. The details that should be looked at hardly are being completely bypassed. The things that shouldn't even be a detail are being brought to the forefront, which just makes people look ludicrous and ridiculous. It makes them exaggerate everything they do. So I see people leaving, bailing out, checking out, saying, I'm not doing this anymore, walking away. And that shift's going to keep on going for you. That's going to keep on moving forward. But those are the major things that I see, sweetie. I just kind of see you standing there watching everything going, oh, well, F it. Not my circus, not my monkey, right? Not my party. Just kind of sitting back, even though it might be aggravating sometimes. But I see you kind of pulling back and just watching the dominoes fall, watching the chips fall where they may. That's going to continue for a little bit. But it's not going to be too hard for you if you can stay detached from it, because none of it's yours. I mean, it affects you a little bit, especially with the work thing, but not really. I mean, you do the job of like 10, 12 people anyway. So another one bites the dust. It's just one more idiot less to have to deal with. So there you go. That was really positive me, wasn't it? Whew. All right. Mika Robinson. How you doing, sweetie? Want a reading, please, with no question? Don, I will get to you, absolutely. Christine, hello, darling. Nice to have you back, and I will get to you as well. Carol, if you could travel, that would be awesome. We will meet up somewhere in the middle. In fact, I was thinking about heading down to Virginia since we've got Chastity and a couple of other people down there. That might be a fun trip. We might even can talk Brigitte into coming out. Who knows? But it would be a lot of fun. Virginia would be a nice meeting point for me, somewhere in that area, Virginia or maybe West Virginia. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Okay, Miss Mika, let's get in here, sweet girl. Oh, this is cute. You got a 33. It's a 6, but a 33 is also a master number, okay? It's all about connecting with your higher intuitive self. And the card that you got is Joyful Muse. It's all about inspiration. So this card with you, and I feel like it's more predominant to the last week, more specifically the last 5 to 6 days. And I know that sounds stupid because a week's only 7 days, but that's kind of where I see it playing out. So we're going back to like late Friday into Saturday. It feels like for me, the energy has shifted with you a little bit. It's made you a little more whimsical in the way that you're kind of reciprocating and taking things in, and the way that you're viewing things. It feels like you've had a major, like a shift mentally in the way that you view things. It also looks for me like you're feeling more love. I'm not sure if this is like bringing it in with a partner or loving yourself, but it feels almost giddy. It feels like it's like this regeneration of kind of, I don't know, excitement in that regard. I don't see anything big new coming in your way. I do see where you tighten up friendships. So, we've been talking a lot about this and about completing tasks and kind of finishing the things we've been working on. It's kind of buttoning up relationships, kind of tightening the reins on everything. And that's going to bring a lot of change in, especially relationship wise, like kind of, I don't know, opening yourself up. And I feel like that's a lot of what you're doing. Like you're opening your mind, you're opening your heart, you're opening your spirit. And there's something in you that's shifting, Mika. And it's really excited. I'm going to be excited to see how that unfolds over the next couple weeks and even months, because I feel like you're going through a growth spurt. It's almost like, yeah, like an emotional maturity, like a spiritual growth spurt. This time where you're kind of waking up to you, to the core of who you are, and being good with that. So stay on that path, sweetie. I'm excited for you. I think that's amazing. I think a lot of people are going to be doing that right now, though. And listen, we're being called to do it. So it's kind of one of those things where if we don't do it, we stay so stagnant, just kind of hanging out there, that all the good stuff that's coming in, and there is good stuff coming in right now, will pass us by. And the only thing that we'll hold on to is the bad stuff that we're seeing externally, right? So it's a big time of movement and change for us. Okay, Miss Dawn, I will get to you in just 1 second. I need to jump down and see if I'm missing everything. Jackie Jones, awesome. You're welcome, sweet girl. And you feel like you can breathe now? Good. Take a deep, deep breath. Life's okay. It's all going to be okay. Hey, Michael. Good to see you in, sweetie. Miss Louise, you are very welcome. Nikki, you are also very welcome, sweetheart. Oh, Brigitte, I love y'all too. I do know y'all love me. I do know that. I have to say, everybody on here is so special, and you guys have built such a community. I think, okay, I built the road, but you guys are the ones traveling in the vehicles, right? Like, you guys are the ones that are making that road active. But it's amazing to watch you guys kind of go through all of that. So Nikki said, oh, you are a reader and a medium. Haha. And emotional loss, disconnected. Yeah, you have to be careful with that, sweet girl. I think, just stick to what I said, not because I'm the guru of doo-doo over here, but I shoot it straight, and you are very welcome. Just kind of stick with that, and let's see, right? Like, if that'll lighten up for you a little bit. Sometimes it can be hard, especially for people who do what we do. And I know it took me a really long time. But it can be really hard, and we have to find a way to balance those things out, because if we don't, we're not doing any service to ourselves, but also not serving the people that we're trying to help in the best way at our top capacity. We have to kind of, we have to lead by example. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. So we have to kind of stay on top of things. Christine, I'm glad you're so grateful for the message. Bless your heart, sweet baby. I'm happy to hear that. All right, let me jump back down now. So I was at Mika, and now we're going to Miss Dawn. Miss Dawn, and then Christine, I will get with you. Chiara Volati. Giusto? Your name's like our Italian last name. Huh. Giambocca. It's a lot. Chiara Volati. I like that. Okay, Miss Dawn. Let's see what we got going on for you, beautiful girl. You got a 4 card. It is the caterpillar in opportunity. So, Dawn, this card is all about kind of shedding the skin, right? Like when a snake sheds its skin. It's all about you letting go of a lot of things that don't serve you, so that you can obviously become more who you need to be, but in a far more mature and enlightened way of viewing things and doing things. There's also a support that comes in behind you. This is new as well. It feels like there's just this beautiful bubble or petal of protection that sits around you to kind of let you just be cushioned for a minute. I think it's almost like putting you in the most beautiful beanbag ever and surrounding you by everybody that loves you. I think you need that to a degree. I think that's an important part of your balancing things out and rejuvenation, is kind of having that, right? Like curing the things around you, fixing the things around you. It's not about creating new scenarios so much, but it's about letting old things die off so that new things can blossom and bloom and come in. And there is a lot of finishing in regard to things in that way. Dawn, I'm not sure with you if there is mom and dad that require some assistance, or if it's one or the other. But there is an aspect of that comes up for me. It's all about securing the family unit. It's all about making sure things are taken care of in that regard. So I think a lot of the things that are kind of shedding right now is the need to hold on to things so tight. It's more about the release, kind of releasing things a little bit out of that grip. I don't see you as somebody who's like overly controlling. I do see you as somebody who worries a lot about everything. And I think that release comes in and knowing that you can't fix everything, but you can just do the best that you can do every day. And so that's kind of the path that I see you on right now. If that's not detailed enough, or if there's something else in what I said that you need to know more about, just put it in a comment for me and I'll catch it down towards the end. But that's where I see things for you right now. It's you're in this being held and enveloped in this beautiful protective evolution. And it's a real time for you to sit with that. Do you know what I mean? Drink a cup of tea, light a candle, read a book, watch your favorite movie, and just sit there and be grateful for the fact that you are surrounded by people who genuinely love you. Imperfect, but genuinely loved. I like that. That's sweet. Okay, let's see. Miss Christine, you can absolutely get a reading. So let me see what we got going on, darling. And I'm assuming this is general because I'm not seeing anything else about it. We've got a 57, which is a 12 reducing down to a 3, and it's the unmarked trail. It's all about revelation. Here we go. There we go. Now we can see it. Revelation and the unmarked trail. You are absolutely waking up to a movement of reality, of seeing things around you in a way maybe that you've never seen them before. Sometimes it feels like shock and awe for me with you. Like, what in the actual hell? I know a lot of us are feeling that, but it's making you challenge authority. It's making you challenge the way that you have viewed the material structure of life, but also that undercurrent below the material structure, which is more of a silent undertone, right? Like it's an agreed undertone. But there's a big movement there for me when I'm looking at things with you. There's also, it feels like you're also saving up for some kind of change. This is like saving money or saving things back. There's like change coming in with you, and it feels like it's expected, but the way that it comes in will be a little unexpected. Not in a scary way, okay? I'm not trying to freak you out. Just saying sometimes the way that we think we see a plan working out isn't always the way that it works out. But it looks like you are kind of saving things up, pulling things back. And it has everything to do with like protecting a younger person below you. So this is like a child or a younger boy, but it feels for me like you're trying to protect this person and make sure that things are as cushioned, as good as they can be. It's all about that commitment. I don't think it's so much commitment to the structural home, like the four walls, but it's more about the commitment to what's living within it. And so that's where it looks like things are for me. You are also in that completion thing, although I saw a lot more of that with you towards the end of September. Like, am I hearing that right? Like 15 through 28, I see a lot more of that movement. This month for me feels a lot more like you making little successes, little gains, little things that you're like, all right, I can do this, right? Like I got this. So all those optimistic things are coming in. Just stay on the path that you're in because you're actually in a really good energy right now. Keep expressing, keep listening, keep watching, keep waking up, keep asking yourself what's true for you and what isn't. Do you know what I mean? What serves in this reality where you see things shifting, and listen to your gut, sweetie. Just stay on top of it. It's an interesting reading. I haven't given a reading like that in a long time. So dang, there you go. All right, let me get down to some comments. Carol, that would be so cool if we all traveled. Oh, and Jackie, you understand the card. It hit the nail right on the head. Awesome. Good, 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 good. I'm super happy for you guys. All right, let's see. Did I miss anything in here? Carol, you can hear Wanda speak her name. Girl, I hear Wanda in my nightmares. I'm just saying. Don't ever take Wanda to a movie. That woman will yell at the screen for hours incessantly. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen, but it is kind of funny. All right. Let's get down there. Michael. Michael said, Jennifer, you already know my situation and how things have progressed. I was just wondering if I see Sarah coming back by Halloween or at least by your daughter's birthday on November 7th, which is also my birthday. Thank you as always. And Nikki, you're very welcome, sweet girl. Let's see what we got going on. Michael, you have the 16 card coming in, which is a 7. This is the empty well. It's time to replenish, right? I still see things coming in around Halloween, but I will say there is a minor shift that looks like it could even push into around the 2nd or 3rd of November. Things are maybe feeling like they're not moving that fast, but if you'll think back to where we were talking a month ago, when you couldn't even see it coming then, and it came in really quick, right? Things are doing that right now too for you. I think where all this big change and these movements in this space for Sarah to shift even more through it is kind of you being that well. Do you know what I mean? Being hollow without movement, just being stable, being there, offering replenishment, but without trying to bring the water up to the surface, right? So it's not trying to hand it over to people so much. It's just having it, just being there. It's being stable and steady. I do see her coming in, like I said, with you. I think it will be before your daughter's birthday, absolutely. But it may be a little adjusted from the October. She's really fighting her way through trying to carve out plans of her own, even though she knows they kind of suck. So it is what it is. But things are going to wrap up and everything's going to be real good. And I will say this, if I don't talk to you privately before Halloween, I better get Halloween pictures of the babies in the costumes. But it's all going to be fun, sweetheart. Don't worry. Do not worry about that at all. Okay, let's see. What am I missing? Hey, Zelda, holy cow, I haven't seen you in a minute, girl. And Jana, you got kicked off, but you're back. I didn't kick you off. The universe might have kicked you off, Jana. I don't know what you did, but you better think about it. I'm teasing. All right, let's see. Where are we? Zelda, can you get a reading? Absolutely, you can, sweet baby. Let me jump in and see what I got you. Okay, Miss Zelda, you got a 37, which is a 9. The Magician's Sword, confidence in your own magic. I think that is absolutely fitting for you. I absolutely do. Only because, the more I read you guys, the more we're on here together. Obviously, the more connected I get to your psyche, your way of thinking, and how you operate, which makes it fun when I pull cards like that because it makes it easier for me to reconnect into who you are. And I really, really like that one for you because you've been coming into this pattern anyway. Now, we've watched you evolve a lot over the last month and a half or 2 months. And it's all about you're getting into that mastery thing now. I think it's really cute because you doubt yourself so much. But so many people view you as a master in your own right. It's only you don't, right? Like it's like the magician's hat sitting there and you're like, not really a hat girl. But if you just put the hat on, you'd be right where you need to be. You've got all that goddess energy coming in. Man, there's just so much going on. And I will be honest with you. I think that this month and specifically going into November for you, like 10 through 17, you are going to have such a sweet energy of feeling like on a soul level, like you're where you're supposed to be exactly, like you're so hyper connected that you're exactly where you need to be. You're going to feel like things are coming into fruition and coming full circle. There's something about somebody coming in. That's why I said full circle. There's something about somebody coming in who hasn't been around for a while or who isn't involved as much in the family as they should be. But things are going to come full circle. So you mark my words, sweet girl. That part of November are going to be amazing for you. And as we start rolling in even closer into the holidays, you're going to feel even more grounded and more connected. November is going to be amazing for you. Even this month, really. This month's just about you claiming it. You owning it. You saying, all right, I get it. I get what my role is. I get how important I am to the entire situation. I'm going to own that. And taking that seat at the throne, right? And then everybody just kind of follows in. Doing good. Doing good, girl. I'm proud of you. Couldn't be prouder if you were my own baby. But I'm really proud of you. All right, let's see. The evolution of chastity. She has evolved. Hey, Sandy Gross. Good to see you, sweet girl. You'd love, oh, we love you being here too, sweetie. Izzy, can you ask another question? If it's quick, darling, that's all I'm going to say. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody. If I have missed anybody, I will get you. Don't worry. Let's see what we got. Lots going on. Okay, Dawn, she was asking, is the protection by myself or outside person in spirit? It's a combination, Dawn. It feels like sometimes when I see people really wake up to themselves and connect with their higher selves, the higher self is the soulmate that we're always looking for, this impossible, perfect person that we can't find. It's us. When I see people make that connection, it can feel like an outside influence because it is a greater expression of your own soul. But it's you coming in to protect you. It's you holding you, which is really beautiful because a lot of the times we just don't experience that in this world at all. We're so disconnected. That umbilical cord is so severed and cut through the reality here, but also through our own choices to cut, that we don't always get it. So it feels like that this is you on your higher self. Okay, Rose Ford, new on here and you would love a reading, please and thanks. Okay, I will try to get through all of this as much as I can, guys, okay? All right, let's see. Miss Rose Ford, what can we do for Miss Rose Ford? Let's see. Darling, you have got a 36 card. That is a 9. It's lost in space and needing direction. Okay. I don't know if you're lost in space so much. I think you get lost in this space sometimes. I think it's hard for you to commit to decisions because you're worried about making the wrong one more than you are making the right one. And it requires a lot of grounding. I think with you working with other people, which it feels like you are always dealing with other people a lot, it comes down to, oh gosh, how do I say this? Death of the ego in the sense of not letting insecurity or ego-based emotions drag you down. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that you have a big ego and you think you're all that. That's not what I'm saying. You know this. You know what I'm saying. The ego plays out in many, many different ways. So it's more just about kind of getting, I don't know, more grounded with that aspect of yourself because you're highly spiritual. There's no two ways about that. I think sometimes getting lost in that space can be that you can get a little fantastical sometimes in the way that you view things. Like sometimes reality sucks. Sometimes we don't want to see it the way that it is. I think sometimes you can get a little fairy fluffed in that way. And I don't say that in a bad way, but it's easier for you to check out than it is for you to check in. So make sure that you're grounding a lot more, please, and try to stay in that way. I don't know why also it feels like for me that you are starting something new. I don't know if this is like an online venture, a web page, lives like this, something like that that's coming in for you. But it feels like you have a new creative venture that's going to be coming in. And I would really love to see you get that first aspect that I was talking about under control before you move to the next step with whatever this is, okay? Because there's an aspect of you working with other people, just like I'm working with other people right now, that requires a huge amount of grounding for you. So that can be like job work, or it can just be your daily life and the people that you're dealing with and working with every day. But take that aspect into consideration, okay? All righty, let's see. Sata is new here. Beautiful stuff. Well, thank you. Oh, you're very sweet. She said, thank you for the beautiful readings and the beautiful words. I am really grateful. Thank you for being here. So if I have time, can I do a reading for you? Absolutely. Guys, we are going to be closing out here in just a few minutes. I have to make dinner for little Romeo Valentino. He is going to have meatball subs handmade. So there it is. But I will jump in and get just 2 more. Okay. All right, Sata. The first thing that I'm pulling up is a 34. That is a 7. So I'm sure you know a little bit of numerology, or maybe a whole lot of numerology. It's called the Lay of the Land, Ancestral Wisdom. It's inverted, though. Okay. Boy, these girls, would y'all go find something to do with yourselves? These dogs are a hot mess. All right, I'm going to turn it upright though so you can see. It's inverted. This is, for me, the big thing for you is all about the spiritual aspect of who you are, about how you're guided and meditative in the way that you approach life. It's all about making those connections. And let me stop this dog. Grace Kelly, come. Sorry. Let's stop some girls. Stop. Honey Buns, you have to stop as well, darling. You're just out of control. I guess Grace is coming to say hello. Okay, so let me jump back in. It's all about that spiritual side of you. Could you get down? It's very rude. Thank you. And about you connecting with that aspect. So again, feels for me like you are a little bit of kind of a teacher in the way that you live your life, and that you like to teach people through expression, through story, through experience, almost like a life coach. Like you have this real sense of you like that. It's like guiding people through all the time. And it has such a spiritual undertone to it. And you have such a nice way of projecting control into it without being a complete control freak. That's with other people. Now, when it comes to you, complete control freak, not flexible with yourself. Other people, one thing. Yourself and like the little 3 feet around you, not so much. So there's some areas there that need to be balanced out a little bit, so that you can keep projecting in the best possible way for yourself and keep things on the, not just the self-care, but also keeping all of those chakras aligned for you, keeping balance running through your body. I would like to see more balance running through your lower chakras and your midsection. There's like a whole stomach thing for you that comes up with me. Not even stomach. It's more like digestion. It's the way you digest things, right? It's very intentful and very deliberate. So try to take that into account and work on balancing those things out just a little bit. I think you have a huge potential as a teacher, as a guide, as a coach, as someone who helps people move through life, through understanding themselves and the world around them. So that's a big responsibility. Try to take it as seriously as possible without not beating yourself up too much. Remember that control thing I was talking about? So it's that. Because in losing control, we find more control. I know that sounds strange, but it's true. So try to work on that, beautiful girl. I hope that'll work out. All right, girls, I think that's going to be the end of it for me tonight. I love you guys very much. Glad you were all here. I'm just going to skim through comments real quick because I don't read this fast. But I think I got all of you guys. Izzy, want to apply for a job. Do you see getting it? Honey, I will do my best to get to that next time. I'm so sorry, guys. But you know what, Izzy? I promised you I would answer. So let me try real quick. Do I see you getting the job? Woo! Maybe. There's one other person at play in this that will be part of the decision. It looks like somebody needs to leave for you to come in. So I don't feel like that's coming immediately. I think that you will hear something about that around the 19th. So just hang tight. Okay? All right, sugar babies. I love you all. Thank you for being here with me on another fabulous, fabulous Wednesday. I'm going to go do some more mechanics. I'm going to make some meatball subs. I'm going to send you guys all of the love I have in my heart, and I mean that genuinely. May God bless you and keep you all safe from harm. We will see you on Sunday with Wanda, Monday with Rachel, God willing, Tuesday with Victor. I will be back next Wednesday. And as always, we thank